Hey everybody, what's up? It's me, it's Pete, and today I'm coming to you with another indie taste test. Today's taste test is a little game called Little Red Lie. Now, what is Little Red Lie, you may be wondering? Well, it is a visual novel from Will O'Neill, an independent developer who also developed the game Actual Sunlight. I haven't played Actual Sunlight, and generally haven't played many visual novels, but hey, sometimes you just change pace. So I've got my visual novel tool set, I've got my body, I'm here, I'm ready to go. I've got my face in the camera in the corner, and then I've got a beer. And that's about what is required. So I'm excited. I haven't played any yet. I like to, when I'm playing like narrative games like this, if I'm gonna do an indie taste test of it, I like to just hop in from the beginning so I don't spoil anything and people get a good taste of what's going on. So let's start. Before you begin, would you be willing to answer a brief questionnaire regarding confidential details of your personal and family finances? Like normally, yes, like absolutely yes, but I'm shooting a video, so let's do it. It's okay. I'm an open book. In the previous year, was your personal income in excess of $55,143 excluding any funds transferred to you by parents, grandparents, or other guardian? It was, because I'm making this sick YouTube money off our 75 subscriber channel. That's why. Was this income the result of dividends, criminal activities, the appreciation of investments, or other assets inherited by you? Well, this channel's criminal, so... no, it was not. I'm a working man. Would you rather commit suicide than live in significant poverty? No. No, I mean, people survive in poverty. I definitely wouldn't commit suicide. Thank you. I'd rather just die. Like, just die naturally. I think that's a better way to die, homeless. This is already hard. Thank you. Little Red Lie is now in possession of sufficient information about you to proceed. Would you like to continue? Yes. Although you've really made me uncomfortable with what I had to say on camera. In Dystopia by Sarah Stone. The way I see it, dystopia is nothing but a distraction from a reality that will be even worse. In dystopia, faceless stormtroopers tower over the horrified masses as they cling together for warmth. The guardsmen grit their teeth and pull their triggers on throngs of desperate protesters, cutting down waves of innocence with sinister certainty. But in reality, reality is nothing like that. In reality, the police don't need to be scary to scare you. In reality, the courts are so clogged, and the cops are so callous, and the cages so cramped, that the thought of getting lost in the labyrinth of their logistics scares you more than a bullet to the back of the head ever could. In reality, nobody needs to shoot you at all. You get knocked on your ass by a $1 zillion sound cannon and run away to save the eardrums you don't have the savings or the health insurance to lose. In dystopia, tattered rags or drab uniforms are dutifully worn by all. Met eyes and encoded gestures are made in shadow as the steel doors crush together. So that's a pretty scary image going on in the background. First of all, the people are standing the exact same and look like they're wearing pretty much the same clothes. Which I think they are. And then not only that, but you have that recurring poster on the train of that guy in the back there. Kind of seemingly staring at you from wherever he is. Ragtag rebels rediscover the unity of long-lost ethnic identities. And in each other they find hope, strength. And even if their failure is assured, in dystopia, they gain the one thing their tormentors can never possess: love. Well, at least they're colorized now. But in reality, the only people who even notice you are strangers trying to look down your shirt. In reality, your best friend is a cell phone. A good one, if you're lucky. In reality, you never cared about other people until the other people were other people like you. And you'd put them up in the river if they crashed on your couch for longer than a weekend. And who can you blame? In dystopia, it's easy. In dystopia, the evil and cruel are always up the hill, down the dungeon, through the woods. They want your blood. They want your babies. They want your brainwaves, or the shells of your bodies, heat of your sexy, starving orifices. But reality is never that interesting. In reality, even the most horrible and seemingly incomprehensible power always ends up being the same old song. A bunch of assholes trying to get rich. So you can kind of see that the what was the facade of like totalitarianism is fading into more of a realistic capitalistic society. You got your diamonds on the left side of the screen, and I think hamburger and french fries on the right side of the screen. A bunch of assholes trying to get rich. In reality, the people frantically obsessed with money are never those people at all. In reality, the people whose lives revolve around money are the people who have no choice, because they don't have any. And in reality, the wealthy no longer need a thing from anyone else at all. Not to die in some war, not to live in some place, and not to build something that a robot has built in the time it took you to read this sentence. And in dystopia, all of our creations churn midnight oil into a hateful sun. Diseases boil through skin, faces are rendered tragically unfuckable. The destruction of Mother Earth turns everyone into a chimney sweep, a hooded nightmare, an asphyxiating tinker. But in reality, the sky is blue as ever. The air is fever crisp, and the bright stars within it are what you look up at while you wait for an ambulance after being stabbed over an apple that now costs $20. In dystopia, your only possession is a torn photograph. You end up bartending at a neon-soaked nightclub for futuristic gangsters. But in reality, you could never get that job. And if you were forced to become an outlaw yourself, you'd probably end up being the victim of a far worse crime than you could ever bring yourself to commit. In dystopia, you finally matter. You're finally going to make a difference. Every oppression ignites you with anger that spurs you into legendary action. But in reality, you are exhausted. Forever. Forever exhausted. You think dystopia is some big story. It's not. It's just a shitty little epilogue that goes on forever. And it all ends up in nothing. That's cute. A little double meaning. So it seems like the world we're entering is somewhat akin to the modern world in some way. But it's hard to tell exactly the setting at this point. Also, I don't know if that was technically a double entendre. I don't think that's... Those sentences had two meanings. Fucking moron, Pete. Alright, let's see what's going on. Okay, so it's winter time. We're at Kennedy Station. under the bridge. In the parking lot. They're waiting for me. Okay, so we got... Okay, gotta remember this. Ooh, nice. Steam controller graphic, I'm on board. No, I need the controls back, I wasn't paying attention. Oh, well, I'll figure it out. Okay, there we go. Arrow keys move, Z lie, X highlights. Okay. Lie about gig economy. Lie about taxi cabs. Let's try it. Whenever people ask me if I take taxis or use a ride-sharing service, I realize that taxi cabs are the more compassionate answer, whether it's true or not. The joke is on them, though. I can't afford to take either anymore. I'm just willing to argue about it because at least it makes me seem middle class. Okay, let's lie about the gig economy. A nervous-looking ride-sharing guy. He doesn't want the cab behind him to realize what he's doing. Ride-sharing always felt strange to me. I sort of prefer how taxi drivers don't pretend to give a shit about you. The worst was when the ride-sharing app started asking you to make all these bullshit, humane, personal comments about your drivers. As if you were talking about a close friend, rather than someone whose struggle you were exploiting. Maybe it just bothers me to have it pushed in my face. Starting off with pretty good talking points. They're waiting for me. So this is a person obviously disenfranchised by the economy. Let's lie about public transit. I know the transit sucks because the government sucks. I don't hate the everyday people who run the system. Not even when I'm running after a bus in the freezing cold and they don't see me because they're too busy looking up disability scams on their phones instead of watching the road. But wait, she's lying about this stuff? I have a lot to learn. So there's parking over there. Can we lie about... We can lie about... we gotta lie about everything. Homeless death spikes in downtown core. You know, it would actually cost less to house these people than to pay the costs of them being on the street. I can't understand why people get upset at the idea of free housing. So I'm starting to pick up the red maybe where the lie comes in. If I'm that brilliant. No need to pick this up. We still get it delivered. Okay. Lie about interest in mainstream entertainment. I'm not interested in mainstream entertainment at all. Really? Awards night flub sends celebrities reeling. This is the local free paper. Tons of reductionist nonsense and celebrity crap that I don't find interesting at all. Lie about interest in global markets. Tax credits to stimulate new business and job growth. Yeah, sure they will. Lie about interest in lurid crime. Drugs and thugs. New gang war? You gotta love it. The legal assumption of innocence is held, but all the classic dog whistles are in there. A mugshot instead of a real photo. A note that the murdered was known to police. Even the more subtle stuff. Interviews with friends talking about how much he was turning his life around. And an upcoming musician. Up-and-coming musician. They don't even have to mention rap anymore. 22 years old. Deeply mourned by his 4 young children. This is just a rag designed to piss people off, disguised as a newspaper. Actually, I'll buy it. Might make a good distraction. Price has gone up a quarter, too. Everything hurts. Okay. I really feel like I have to decipher these lies. So, okay, so it's set in Toronto. If they don't knock the never-ending construction in the city off, I'm leaving someday. I'd probably move to Montreal. Never been to any of those places, though. At least they have more than 2 subway lines. And how could you not love a stop called Pi 9? So she's not going anywhere, pretty much. We know that. Not going anywhere. But she wants to believe she might be able to. No going over there. Okay, I think we've done as much lying as we could. So, there's no way I can negotiate with these people if I don't have a cigarette first. And I don't want to start that conversation on a note of why I've started smoking. So she always smokes. You can smoke in the rain like every other failure of a femme fatale, Sarah. Even if you've already had something like half a pack today. Concealed chain smoking. Okay. Alright. I'll have the cigarette. There's an ashtray over there by the corner. And then I'll use that washroom to try to mask it the best I can. Okay. We can do that. That seems like a logical thing to do. You know what they say, the only way to start quitting is to have one. Oh, that's pretty. That's super pretty. Snow on the ground. Rain in the sky. Heat in the night. We figured they were lying about how long this kind of climate change would take. Then it turns out that even the worst pessimism wasn't half as bad as it already was. Who knows? Maybe the cigarette is the least toxic thing I've inhaled all day. Still, if I could quit, I would. Too bad you only feel bad after it stops feeling good. Maybe that attitude is a little piece of what happened to everything. Fuck it. I didn't even want this. I'm just delaying the inevitable. I have to tell him the truth. Tonight is the night. Well, could I go wash up in the washroom? Seems like it. It's highlighted. Or is that what? Oh, yeah. Lie about being disgusting. No, let's own it. Let's own it. We are who we are. They deserve to know. Oh, do I have to? Ah, come on. I wanna face the consequences. I'm being forced to lie. I've got a toothbrush, perfume, gum. This should do it. Or at least well enough to be able to say it's secondhand. The thought of somebody actually using one of these toilets is unimaginable. God, I have to quit. Look at my fingers, my teeth. The real reason they try to hook you so young is so it can happen before you're even capable of imagining what looking like shit would look like. Alright, I think I'm good. Okay, so, initial thoughts. About 20 minutes in. Definitely on the nose with a bunch of stuff. Now, I think that's fine as of right now. It's one of those things where you need to kind of introduce the concept, so maybe the tougher, more human elements aren't happening. Kind of the lies here have been a good way of setting up that we're in this kind of modern, almost dystopian, maybe slightly in the future place. Because it's like climate change is worse than anybody expected. But it is like all the things you'd expect in the current world are still here and still affecting the population, apparently, which we were able to tell from the newspapers. So, okay, let's go downstairs. I'm guessing it's my parents. It's got to be my parents. Before You Know It, by Sarah Stone. Before you know it, You feel like you're right back where you started. Back at home, back to childhood, back to depending on the people who should be depending on you. And you're so defined by what you're not. Never married, never successful, never belonging anywhere or to anything. You don't even know who you are. Still, it's strange to be past what feels like the point of no return and still so far from the end. Should that be past, as in P-A-S-S-E-D? Should it? Still, it's strange to be past to what feels like the point of no return. It's still so far from the end. So we're getting the sense she feels totally stuck. And according to questions earlier and what she was talking about, I feel like she's not in a good financial situation. Thanks for coming to get me. You were working late. Oh, I gotta do my dad voice. Everyone works late now. And if they don't, somebody else will. And guess what happens then? Everyone works late now. Yeah. Big project. They can't really trust too many people with it. That's... Oh, a grandmother as well. I can try to do those voices a little hard. I understand that I broke the chain. That without creating a future for it, even the closest family will eventually run out of things to talk about. I'll ask a question about some distant relative. Oh, God, dude. I'm just going to turn off my camera. I'm blocking stuff. I don't want to do that. Okay. Sorry, no more face. I just made a hand gesture towards the camera. I'll ask a question about some distant relative or a restaurant we haven't been to in a long time, just to break up the rhythm of the rain. But I don't really care. And I don't think that they believe I do. The saddest thing, though, is that I think I used to. At least a bit. You just don't see the point. I mean, what does it have to do with you? Literally nothing that goes on around you has anything to do with you at all. You're just a sack of shit dragging yourself around from one day to the next. What could you even say about anything that wouldn't make you look like a fool? But still, you have to say something. Even if it means pretending to be somebody you used to be in order to hide how you no longer feel like you are anybody at all. Okay. Old lady voice. Got it. What are your plans for the weekend? Feign interest in own life. Sorry, what? The weekend. What are you doing? Oh. What would I be doing? I would probably... I guess the second one would be closest to what I would do on a given weekend, so... I'll probably get coffee with Claire and Steve. I'm pretty tired, though. You know you're a loser when basic questions about what you're doing on the weekend feel like a humiliating interrogation. Well, maybe you should go somewhere new. Meet some new people. I could say I have nothing in common with people younger than me. I could say I'm embarrassed to be around regular people my own age. Or I could say, and everyone older than me weirds me the fuck out. So, at my age, I both have nothing in common with people younger than me, and I'm embarrassed to be around regular people my own age. And everyone older than me weird. These all fit. We can go with any of them. I'll say I have nothing in common with younger people. Yeah, you're right. I should see if anything is going on in the city. Seems dangerous downtown right now, though. Did you guys read about that rapper guy who got shot? Sometimes we'll pull up next to a car at an intersection, and I'll look over to see another 38-year-old woman One who isn't sitting in the back seat of a car being driven by her elderly parents. She'll seem powerful, yelling and waving her arms at somebody on some kind of conference call. Or dressed up, looking like she's heading out for the night. Or listening to her kids tell her about what they did at school. But as soon as she looks back, I look away. I don't want to see the type of person I wish I could be see me wishing I could be them. I like the close-up art stuff. It's really pretty. And worst of all is how the space and silence that should be my life gets filled up with guilt instead. God, these people look so upset. Holy shit, man. Look at how disappointed that mom is. God. Okay. That's fine. It's fine. Filled with the unspoken sound of how much they've done for me. How much they sacrificed so that I could be somebody. And here I am. And sure, I could tell you I love them for it. But what would it matter if I did? There isn't a single thing my love can do. I won't survive without my parents. But at least they're the only people who even care if I'm alive. You can't have less to lose than that. What did you eat today, Sarah? Huh. Oh, maybe maybe I clicked through that too fast. Whoops. I'm gonna guess they asked me if I wanted anything to eat. I couldn't contradict them if I wanted to. I'm starving. I had a salad with chicken and a granola bar. Well, we have leftovers, if you want. All right, maybe a bit. Sarah, hold on a second. It's my dad voice. The way he said that, what does he know? What could he know? What could he know? Is something wrong? So we already know something's wrong, of course. We need to talk. Oh. It's either mom or she was never fine when it came back? I don't know what that means. It must be my sister. Dad, stop being cryptic. Just tell me. It's weird because she was kind of cryptic there. She could have taken a shot, at least, and talked to her dad. Your mother is worried. About what? What happened with her this time? The way he exhales now. The moment he even thinks about her. Your sister is beyond being worried about Sarah. Mom is worried about you. Jesus Christ, he knew I would think it was a relapse. Or he always does this, says half of something. Or I could say, and pretends it's just his personality. He always does this. I'm fine. She thinks you work too much. I could say she thinks I'm a lesbian, or too much of a slut to be taken seriously, or not enough of one to find somebody in the first place. She thinks, I don't like any of these particularly, but I think they're all supposed to make me not like them. So I'm going to go with too much of a slut to be taken seriously. If that says anything. I don't know what that means. That was a big fat lie. It means she wants you to be happy. That your happiness is more important to her than anything else. I could say, and she's dying, or the unsaid thing always, or with all the weight it carries. And I just to be clear, I'm not saying all these things. I'm just in the habit of phrasing things that way because other stuff. And she's dying. I'm trying. And your sister, you know she's going to need your help. And you know it won't be easy. If you had someone that you could turn to when things got tough with her, it might make all the difference. He always says this knowing I'll defend her. He wants to hear somebody do it, even if he feels like he can't. He always says this knowing I'll defend her. She doesn't need me as much as you think she does. She's more capable than you know. She is. You've always been just like me. You're strong. You don't complain. And you've never been afraid of responsibility. But sometimes I think you can't see that there's more to being strong than being on your own. This has got to be about something more than my romantic life. Or, but what? Or, and why now? And why now? What you don't see is that I would have never been strong enough to take care of everything without your mother. Or your sister. Or you. I know I make it seem that way. It isn't that way at all. It's family, Sarah. Family. Anyway, I think that's what your mother wanted you to know. Is that it? I couldn't tell by the way he locked eyes with me in the rear view. Was it an intimidation? Fear? Pity? It's hard to read your parents as people. You don't want to do it. No matter how old you get, you want to believe nothing could shake them. No, that isn't it. I have to tell you something important. And I don't want you to say anything about it to your mom. Not yet. Cancer, that was what got his mom. Heart failure, grandpa. Alzheimer's runs all the way through his family. I'm going to say Alzheimer's. Just tell me. We can't afford to take care of your sister anymore. What did she do? It isn't just her. The medication costs for mom. They just keep going up. What else did they put her on? I don't even know anymore. Between the two of them, it's a mountain. Are they even helping, or is there even any point, or not that you can ask? Not that you can ask that. Are they even helping? I'm sure they're helping if the doctors say so. You know that's not true. We'll get through it. Ooh, that wasn't a lie, which is interesting. She does actually believe they'll get through it. Your sister doesn't listen to me, Sarah. At the very least, I need you to get her to stop buying whatever she feels like off the internet. I'm not trying to pit you against her, but if she doesn't knock it off, we won't have any choice but to start charging you rent. It's the last thing I want to do. I know you're working your tail off trying to get your life back on track, but things are that serious. And maybe, if you could put it to her like that, if she knows how hard you're working to rebuild, maybe some of that attitude will rub off on her. Now, what the fuck is he doing? Like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, seriously, what kind of parent are you? You piece of shit. Go talk to your fucking daughter and tell her to stop buying stuff off the internet. Don't have your daughter do your bidding. Just go tell, you just go fucking, you tell her, God damn it, you go into a room and you say, hey, we literally can't afford this anymore, or else your mother will die, or we will lose this house. This game is about lying. I'm not angry. Let's keep going. Maybe. I mean it, Sarah. You've done everything you could, despite how tough things are out there. I know how much it must have hurt to move home and rent out your condo. I sold the condo. I was renting it myself with a roommate you never met, or until I couldn't even afford to do that anymore. Well, these kind of work in sequence, I should just say. Until I couldn't afford to do that anymore. I don't miss it. I was lonely there. But you still own it. And this is still Toronto. And you still got the equity from the from the down payment, plus all of the years you paid into the mortgage. I borrowed against all of that equity years ago. That seems like the most likely thing. Not to mention how much of the profit I had to use to sell it, which also seems likely, and all of which is long, long gone. All of that fits. Yeah, I'm sure the appreciation on it is still going strong. Why is that not a lie? I checked a while ago. Oh, okay. So she might believe that, but she hasn't checked. I think about all these kids your age that I read about in the paper. The ones who not only didn't save, but got buried under mountains of debt that they never should have taken on in the first place. I owe $29,531 on my credit card, $8,931 in outstanding income taxes, and $3,425 in freelance sales tax I never remitted. Let's lighten the blow on her. Jesus Christ, though. Yeah, it isn't worth it to pay all that interest anyways. Exactly, and we've been paying off your sister's nonsense for years. But not once have you ever come to us to borrow anything. That was what I was going to do tonight. Because I'm officially at the end of every rope. The only thing I ever had was too much pride to tell you. That seems really honest. Let's go that route. She's not going to say it. I couldn't live with myself if I screwed up your retirement. You and Mom work so hard for everything you have. She could live with herself. So have you. You get up in the morning, you get dressed, and you do it. You do the work. I know they've never appreciated you the way they should, but they will. You're too good to ignore. Oh, shit. That's not good. I lost my job 6 months ago. I sit in a Path Cafe all day, dressed for interviews. Jobs with hundreds of applicants who are far more exploitable. That sound. Yep. See, that's I feel like this may be the most real moment so far. And just how crushing that is. The feeling of unemployment and knowing that you're in competition with hundreds of other people just as desperate as you. God damn. As long as I'm getting paid something, I can manage. Being noticed isn't always for the best, though. Well, if they don't come around, somebody else will. And I'm hoping that your sister will, too. She needs to more than anybody. I can't help it. I can't help anyone. I'll do my best. You always have. I'm proud of you, Sarah. Damn, Sarah. Shit, son. Little Red Lie. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're going to probably quit there. It looks like we're transitioning into something entirely different. Yeah, this, let's kind of unwrap things that have happened. Okay. So this game seems pretty heavy. What I like is it is tackling very real, honest issues in a very real and honest way, which you don't get much of in video games often. or at least not things with that dour of a tone or that severe of a tone. Just kind of taking a topic like that, a very heavy and difficult topic, of tackling kind of like how the generation of the millennials, the young working class at this point, is truly just struggling, and also the burden of medical debt on a family, and how truly oppressive and damaging that can be to a family. Like that's a very, like, an incredibly real thing to approach so early in a game. So yeah, I like that. My only concern is that, as the story moves throughout, that it will maybe be too heavy-handed, and maybe slam home some of the messages too hard. I'm not sure how the game progresses. I'm not even sure that story is going to be the one we're following here. I don't know, because it seemed like it was putting up captions of the stories as you were playing them. So maybe this next story is going to be an entirely different story. I don't know. But yeah, that was good, and very real and very different than what I'm used to playing. There's no kings or warring factions right now. Which, how do you build a video game without that? But no, this seems good so far. So, yeah, if you like this, make sure to check it out. I'll bring back my webcam here in a second. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. We are IndieGamesAAA.com. This game's Little Red Lie. I think it's like $10 on Steam right now. So you can go get it over there. It has controller support and all that good stuff. And, of course, you can check out IndieGamesAAA.com. That's our website, our podcast, Mandate Radio, and our my YouTube channel where I do my reviews, basic reviews, for good content. And hopefully I'll have time to review this if I find it meaningful enough, like in the realm of video games, then I'll probably give it a look over there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves through this dour trip of rainy Toronto. And until next time, this has been an Indie Taste Test. I love you guys. Mwah, 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 mwah. Goodbye.